Welcome to Single Shots. It's like bullet points, but just one topic. You are
Judd Dunning,
and I am the man formerly known as Judd Dunning,
AKA Michael Loftus.
We're having a great time. Here's the show. This is Single Shot. It's not the 4 topics. It's not even 5 topics. It's one topic. We're digging deep. And what are we talking about today?
Today we are in Single Shot, Michael Loftus. We're talking about the Climate Change Townhall on CNN.
Uh-oh. This sounds like it's gonna get hot. Stick around. Okay, this is it. The Climate Town Hall on CNN. All the big learned people were there.
Yes.
Rolling out their plans because the earth
is on fire. We don't need the water. Let the motherfucker burn. Yeah, all right.
Well, that's where. Listen. So we're gonna talk. We're gonna put 5 minutes on the clock. We're not gonna be made fun of for our old school taste in funk.
That was good. That was a great song.
It was a phenomenal song. That's why people still know it. I don't care who's rolling their eyes off camera. Okay, we're talking about the climate.
We are.
We're talking about it changing. We're talking about global warming. We're talking about the future of mankind.
Amen.
We're talking about can we do something?
It's a religion.
The frogs are dying.
Amen.
We're boiling in the pot. What are we gonna do?
Speak to me, Jesus.
Talk to me. Put 5 minutes on the clock.
All
Let's
joking
go.
aside, it is the new global faux religion, so I think it's appropriate that you were calling it out there, Pastor. So climate change. So I thought what we should start is really clear. What are the major points?
Yes.
Of what the left says of why is there a problem with global warming? One.
Science.
One. Junk science. One. The planet's average surface temperature has risen 1.62 Fahrenheit. Climate. That's the key. Is temperature.
Since the 19th century.
Right.
And we're in the 21st, right?
That's right.
Okay, that's been a while.
That's right. So the oceans have absorbed this heat, showing a warming of 0.04 degrees since 1969.
Ooh, bad.
Okay. Shrinking ice sheets, that there have been, we've lost an average of 286 billion tons of ice between 1993 and 2016.
Good Lord.
Sea levels have rose 8 inches over the last century.
What?
Most of this is not true.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm starting to get concerned.
Declining Arctic sea ice declined rapidly over the last several decades. Thus, the polar bears, extreme events.
They're all dead, right?
They are all dead, except for a select, many
I
thousand.
heard they were taking regular bears, painting them white,
right,
and just dumping them.
You know what's crazy is they're black underneath their skin. That's what's crazy. Is if you shave a polar bear, it's black, which is a whole different show.
I do from time to time.
Yes,
Yeah.
you shaving your
I'm
polar
like,
bear.
hey,
That's immoral.
Go shave your polar bear.
Okay, moving on. And also, so there's been more hurricanes, etc., and acidification.
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
None of this is like, there's not been more hurricanes.
This is why that the Earth is ending in 12 years.
Okay. Can we talk pros and cons?
Pros and
Can we
cons.
start pushing back a little bit?
Let's do that. Now,
and then we'll have some science to back it up.
We'll have some science to back it up.
So I'm going to tell you my stance right now.
Let's go.
I love me the science. I love me the science. I love me the empirical evidence. I love being able to reproduce the results of your little experiment.
Right.
That's
so wait, you love it so much you're misusing your pronouns. I got it. Okay, I was wondering it. I love me the science. Okay. Keep going.
I do. I was hearing a crazy buzzing, and I thought maybe
there's a conservative fly.
I think somebody was getting
studio.
electrocuted. So here's the problem with this. They keep busting these scientists, going, "Oh, you fudged the data," or "You were measuring the temperature in the wrong way." Oh, they keep doing this, and so we can't trust it. Right. And then when somebody does come out with a study, they go, "Oh, of course, your study was paid for by the I Love Satan's nipples," whatever it is. So I propose this. I propose this on my podcast, the Loftus Party podcast, the best podcast you need to start listening to. Here's what I want to do. This is a legit pitch. I want to do like a Willy Wonka thing. I want the name of all like the climatologists, the people who specialize in this,
right.
People who know about Earth's, like what are the tectonic plates and what's information is in the soil and
right.
the coil samples. I want people who know about outer space and about solar winds and solar flares, all that stuff. You have a group of a couple thousand of these scientists. Then a handful of them get these golden tickets. and you just take those guys and they listen. You got to pay for them to have food and to eat and to do their experiments and stuff. But there's no big corporations behind it. Maybe the American public could fund it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And just get real, honest science, because everything that the left is saying, I got another study that pushes right back on it. Usually from somebody like I don't know, NASA or the National Oceanic Atmospheric,
OSHA?
NOAA.
Yeah.
It's like
NOAA.
it's insane.
Right.
It's crazy. And like when you push back on this stuff, people go, "Oh my gosh, you're a Neanderthal.
Right.
Do you even believe in fire?" And it's so condescending. And you're like, "No, I believe." Seriously, if something was really going on,
Right.
If so, why wouldn't China do something?
Right.
Did I talk for 5 minutes?
Oh, very, very good, Michael.
That was
I don't know, it was a
horrible.
Chinese gone. I think it was
ate
more
up
of
all
just
the
a,
time. I
no,
feel
I think
bad.
it was a Chinese accentuation.
Oh, okay, that's
Listen,
great.
So Jordan Peterson, I mean, we talked about this. Great, it's interesting. I went
Is he
on.
a climate scientist?
He's a
exactly
denier. And
exactly.
and they mentioned Satan on some of the references actually. So it's interesting. He just said simply, he says unreliable and politicized. So let's just sit with that one fact that you just made. It was great. It's like the Manhattan Project, publicly funded, of climate scientists who are going to go underground. They're going to solve the actual climate issue because nobody says there's not a climate issue. Not that we don't affect our environment.
Is there a climate issue?
Well, I think we affect. There's an environment issue. I think we affect our environment. Sure, the pollution's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
Right?
I'll give you that.
That's it. I mean,
I'll give you that.
And that's ration. That's called rational accommodation. Now, it's like, okay, there is man does affect. Now, if you go to this, we're going to roll for a minute. If you go to this statistic, here's the biggest thing that's stated: is the opinion that we have an effect on the climate, that humans have an effect on the climate, and this is the stat they use. But if you go over here to CO2 levels over the eras of the Pliocene and the
It's tough to see this.
Okay.
It's tough to see. We're going to kind of have to walk you through it.
Right.
See how it's really high up over here?
Right.
That's like 400 million years ago.
in the Cambrian era.
They measure the CO2 in the soil. You see that line is coming down, coming down, coming down. So that's 300 million years ago.
Right.
At super low, and here we are now below that.
Right.
There's actually, this is like what
From the soil. They've
yes.
looked in the soil for CO2 levels. So first of all, in the huge picture, not valid, right? That's one thing. And then NASA, you just went back to that other slide.
And that was science.
And that was science. And then you went to back NASA. If 2 years ago we covered in the show was saying that there's actually been a gain of Antarctic ice.
Yes.
So a couple years later they're saying it's completely melting. So we are in a spin of politicized socialism. Listen, the Democrats do not have a platform anymore.
Can I do one joke really quick?
Go.
Okay, so they say that the ocean is melting, right? The ocean's getting too hot. Not melting.
Right.
The ocean's getting too hot. Like my little glass of Red Bull here. This is Red Bull. It's getting warmer. Now, if I wanted to cool that off, I would what? Add ice. So, if the ice sheets are melting into the ocean, wouldn't it make it colder?
That's great. That's great. It's true. It's a big cocktail. It's a big low ball, and the ice is melted, and
It's like,
gotten
we are God's martini.
right.
And he's like, it's just right. It doesn't need ice.
Oh my
We're
God,
fine.
that's great. The low ball theory. Michael Loftus here, September 5th, 2019, whatever it was. Right? It's great.
Yeah.
Low ball theory. Low ball environmentalism. I love it. Is that really our time? We are out of time on SingleShot. We could not solve the climate issue, but I will tell you.
We might have to do a part 2.
We have to do parts. This was part 1. Come back for part 2 here on SingleShot.
Why not?
Why not?
This is our show. Sometimes we don't wear underwear.
Appropriate.
Perfect.